Welcome to this week of Fly Rod Chronicles. We're headed up the Cass Railroad, one of the most scenic places in West Virginia. We get to play with trains and of course fish. And I tell you, I am always amazed when you can catch one of these little guys because they are gorgeous. Just absolutely gorgeous. But first, we're going down to see a good buddy of ours and sponsor, Mark Carter at Carter Motors. And we're gonna talk him in to going out, doing a little fishing, and we've got a special guest. We got Nat Frederick, who's gonna come and do a little picking on the guitar. It's gonna be a good few days up in the mountains in our home state of wild and wonderful West Virginia. You're gonna wanna tune in to this show because it's gonna be killer.
Traveling the world, fishing, enjoying the great outdoors. Those are things that would have seemed impossible to me when I was a kid growing up in the mountains of West Virginia. I'm a lucky man and I never want to forget it, and I'm hoping that sharing my experiences with folks will inspire them to do the same. I'm Curtis Fleming, and these are my Fly Rod Chronicles.
You guys see Mark?
Yeah, he's upstairs.
Oh, upstairs, okay. How you doing, bro? Can't find him.
Would you like me to page you?
That'd be awesome.
Mark, can you come to your office, please? Mark Carter, to your office.
Try to sneak you out of work and go to one of your favorite places, Cass Railroad. Get onto
You're kidding.
get onto some trains.
You're kidding me.
You know, as a fly fisherman, if you ever want to know if the hatch is going on, all you got to do is look at the windshield, look at the front of your car. Whenever you got bug guts all over windshield, you know it's on. Weather-wise, we're going to nail it. I mean, you know, here it's still cool. And the cast of characters we got going with us. You know, Mark Trains is right down his alley here.
Also joining us on this trip is singer-songwriter Nat Frederick.
You know, Nat's a musician and he's an outdoorsman, and I can't wait you guys can hear his music.
Traveling to Cass and telling the story about this old logging town is a perfect way to demonstrate how looking into the past can help us move forward. The brook trout in this area are like the giant Shay locomotives that make Cass famous. They are both amazing creations, and they both have a story to tell. Similar to how Cass became a ghost town after the logging stopped, the brook trout in this area came close to extinction. In this show, you will see what caused the brook trout numbers to decline, and what is going on now to conserve this beautiful resource. But to tell you the story of the local brook trout, you first have to know the story of Cass and how the railroad that ran through this town changed the people and transformed the place they lived.
And na 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 na.
The railroad was the only reason cities like Cass were ever developed. In its heyday during the early 1900s, Cass played a vital role in supplying the nation with lumber. It was a bustling place to be. Today, the burned down mill stands as a stark reminder of days past. In 1961, Cass became a state park and has been a popular tourist attraction ever since. The train tours on the original Shay locomotives offer one-of-a-kind countryside views and a glimpse of what it was like at the turn of the 20th century. The original logging camps are available for guest lodging, and everything in the town of Cass has been preserved or restored to look just like it did 100 years ago. When Fly Rod Chronicles returns, I meet up with Scott Fortney and he shows me one of his favorite native trout streams. You don't want to miss it. Hey, there's a lot more going on in Fly Rod Chronicles behind the scene. If you want to check it out, join us on Facebook or Twitter.
This segment is brought to you by TU's Veterans Service Partnership.
Welcome back to Fly Rod Chronicles. We are at the Cass Scenic Railroad State Park in Cass, West Virginia.
Cass is one of those areas that, once you come here, you're hooked. It's just a friendly environment for families. It's fun, but, we also have, people internationally that come down here. Cass is a trademark brand name in the railroading community. With Cass, it's timeless.
Here being in the company store, today's technology, we got internet and you got Sam's Club and Walmarts and everything, but this is where everybody came, and everything was essentially bought right here in this company store. And today, this has turned into a tourist attraction. What an unbelievable place to come and visit and just take a step back in time.
Cass is located in the mountains of Pocahontas County, and staying at the state park gives an angler multiple options for good fishing close by.
This is almost like a central hub. You can be at some of the major streams, Elk, Williams, Schaefer's.
I met up with Scott, and he was gracious enough to take me out fishing on one of his favorite tributaries to Schaefer's Fork River, and he didn't even blindfold me along the way. What a nice guy.
So this is vast and wild country, isn't it?
Yeah, we're up in the mountains.
Very nice. We're way off the beaten path here.
Yeah, we're basically up in the spruce forest.
All right.
And this is one of those streams I've been coming to since I was a kid.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you bringing me up here.
Well, it's my pleasure.
The red spruce that grows in this area was highly sought after in the early 1900s to make paper, and the reason a town like Cass was ever developed. The logging of this virgin timber was an important step for the growth of America, and it's nice to be able to walk these hills again and see the spruce trees coming back.
So that's pretty cool right there.
Yeah, it looks like we have a old growth spruce tree that's been cut and a new one coming back out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, spruce, they're trying to make a comeback.
Yeah.
This one, natural. There's groups out there that are actively planting spruce to try to get the forest reestablished.
Yeah.
And for a stream like this, it's really important. Mature stand can drop the temperature underneath 10 degrees, which is vital for the trout.
Yeah, 10 degrees is a big deal. That's
Yeah.
a game changer.
There is something about being on a native brook trout stream that intrigues me. I love hiking through the woods and crawling over rocks like a kid. I love the challenge of trying to get in position without spooking a fish, and the adrenaline I have when making a cast with tree limbs everywhere. I savor the feeling of hope when my line unravels and the fly lands softly on the water. I love everything about fly fishing, but I have to admit, I really love it when it all comes together and a feisty brook trout smashes my dry fly.
There he is. Let's come check this guy out. So this is our state fish, and it's just a baby, just a little one. That is a brook trout, Salamanus fontanellus. And I tell you, I am always amazed when you can catch one of these little guys, because they are native to the state of West Virginia, and West Virginia named them our state fish. As you can see, they are gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, just hooked on the bottom.
It's time for Trout Unlimited's Release of the Week.
Stay tuned. When Fly Rod Chronicles returns, we take a train ride over Cheat Mountain and I get to chase some trout in Shavers Fork. We also get an inside look at some ingenious stream restoration efforts that are helping the native brook trout thrive. You don't want to miss it.
Closed captioning is provided to you by Buff, the original multifunctional headwear.
Welcome back to Fly Rod Chronicles. We are at the Cass Scenic Railroad State Park in the historic town of Cass, West Virginia. This famous tourist destination lies in the heart of my home state, and the fishing opportunities around these parts are only surpassed by the town's history.
I feel like a big kid when I come up here, you know. It never gets old to me. My wife says, "We've been up there already. Why do you want to go back?" I said, "Because I enjoy it. It's fun."
All right, I'm with you.
The railroad is part of American history, and it changed a lot of things, some positively and some negatively. The construction of the railroad was during a time when people didn't think about the effects it would have on the fish. Because of the lack of vision, the railroad inevitably cut off vital feeder creeks and made Shavers Fork a much wider, slower moving river with less canopy. Brook trout are tough specimens. They have managed to survive in the face of adversity, and with recent efforts by West Virginia DNR and groups like Trout Unlimited, the fish in Shavers Fork have a promising future. To combat how the railroad made the stream wider, J-dams were constructed to increase the flow of water. The groups involved with the Shavers Fork Restoration Project are working with nature, using materials found close by, that when strategically repositioned in the river, make for better trout habitat. We met up with Gordon Robertson and Steve Brown, and they showed me how they are reconnecting the feeder streams to Shavers Fork, unlocking miles of native spawning waters for the brook trout.
It's Westerville Ecological Services, time for conservation.
Over to our right here, this culvert with the steps in it there this is a fish passage project basically, which is designed to move fish when they need to from the main stem and Shavers Fork out here up into these tributaries for cold water refuge when things heat up out in the main stem, and also to spawn in fall. A lot of times their backs were out of the water trying to get up through the old culvert here. And so what we've created now is a series of about 16, 17 step pools up through here that, it's just take them one at a time, and it's a relatively easy passage for a fish that's as mobile as a brook trout and as acrobatic. This little outflow here over that baffle, that's a wriggle for a brook trout. It's no biggie, right there.
Kind of liking that, huh? All right, man, magic time. I think it feels like an oak tree. It is an oak tree. Typical. This would be like Bear Haven. A bear could just walk out here, come in, get him a fish. You know what I mean? Yep, there's bear tracks right there. Bear tracks. These tracks go 30-some miles of Shavers Fork River. I've put a lot of miles, wore out a lot of wading boots on these tracks. There he is, right there. Oh, baby, there he is. I'm telling you right now,
That is freaking incredible. Good fighting fish. Oh yeah, yep. Wants to be on TV. I gotta go for the net. Golly, just incredible. See if I can get him over here to me. Oh, we got us a brook trout. We're up here on the Shaver's Fork talking about brook trout. Again, we've been talking restoration all week. Wet my hands. Gotta show off this brook trout. That is as good as they get right there. Just what a thrill. I gotta do it again.
People that live in West Virginia are a breed all their own. And it's been that way since the first immigrants settled in these mountains. The town of Cass is a reminder of the industrious workers at the West Virginia Pulp and Paper Company and how they diligently supplied the nation with lumber in the early 1900s. This show really isn't about the fish, but about the fishery and how it was changed by railroad logging in the past, and how it is being restored today by those who realize what a special resource it is. The fish are just a bonus and a result of the restoration efforts that will continue to benefit this river long after we are gone. I was proud to meet the fine folks that are working on the Shaver's Fork Restoration Project. These initiatives are just the beginning to ensure that our state stays wild and wonderful.
We just had airplane, I think an airplane, just fly by us. What was that thing?
Merganser.
It was a, for what?
Merganser.
It was a how you say it?
Merganser.
It was a mergangster, and just come flying by, and I mean, it was a drive-by. You should have seen this thing. He was, oh, this is awesome. I got to quit talking. Man, maybe that's what the mergangster was after. He was going to try to take his brown trout away from me. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the release. I missed it. Okay. There he is, right here. Oh, got us an acrobatic and got it down to him. And did he just try to jump in my net? I don't even think I needed my net. I didn't see that happen. But gosh, it had to look good. Boys, we caught our first rainbow of the day. Rainbows are awesome. Brook trout are awesome. Brown trout are awesome. But when there's a fish at the end of your line and between your legs, and it even makes it more awesome. He's a friendly little guy. He's a lot more friendlier than we want him to be on the Outdoor Channel. This may take us to after hours on the Outdoor Channel. Please come out of there. Thank you. That was beautiful. Oh, I got to show this rainbow off though. Me and this rainbow trout, I guess you could say we're like semi-pre-engaged. We got to know each other pretty well. So old Henrietta here, she's a feisty little girl, but gosh, did she make my day. Wow, in more than one way. Thank you, girl. Oh, Lord.
This show may have not been a big fish show, but that's not what this story is about. It's about the tiny brook trout that call these mountain streams home, and how they have clung on to existence just long enough for us to help them bounce back. I was blessed to have caught 3 different species of trout on this trip. And though they were not giant fish, they are hopeful signs of what's to come in the future. Maybe I will come back in a few years and we can do that big fish show. With continued efforts from fishermen and environmentalists, I think it's possible. Thanks for hanging out with Fly Rod Chronicles. Come back next week.
And I'm just a fishing bum. If I don't have the gas, then I stick out my thumb. I've gotta get there one way or another.